It's the end of my trip to Germany. I'm all packed up now. I'm traveling to Madrid right now. I'm traveling back to Madrid to pick up my things, to essentially rearrange and pack everything again, and then go to Pamplona the next morning. I'm going to go to the airport, sit down and work, and then go on my flight. And I relaxed a little way too much, and I lost my original flight. I was losing my mind over the fact that the page was telling me I needed to pay 300 euros for a one-way ticket. But thankfully, customer service at the airport from the airline was able to find a solution for me for just 80 euros, which, while it's still expensive, it's definitely less than the 300 euros the website was telling me. I never thought that looking for an outlet at an airport in this day and age would be this problematic, but it apparently is. I have been sent to what I believe must be a new area in the airport, and I believe that just because everything looks so shiny and new. And also there is nothing else in this whole entire area of the airport. I didn't have breakfast, and I was like, okay, I'm going to eat something at the airport. And then it was like, no, you're not, because they sent you to the boarding area at the airport that is completely entirely empty. There was only one single store open, and the only thing they had were sandwiches. So it's amazing how in the last 24 hours, I've essentially only had sandwiches to eat. I still don't know what my boarding gate is. I only know that I had to come to this sort of area. And my flight didn't get delayed. I had to take another flight because I wasn't able to put in my bag, my suitcase in the previous one. I have to work. I want it to be known that traveling to Berlin, to Madrid, to then go to Pamplona exactly the next day was a really terrible bad idea. There is a reason why travel agents exists, and that is because I obviously cannot be trusted to come up with a reasonable travel itinerary for myself. That is the truth. I have to work, and I'm essentially still standing by the pure force of adrenaline and willpower because I'm tired as heck. I wish that I could say that I'm not going to see the inside of a plane in a long time, but in 2 weeks I'm going to see the inside of a plane again to come back to Madrid, and then probably a week or so after that I'm going to see the inside of a plane yet again because I want to do more traveling around Europe. It will depend on what my bank account looks like by the end of this week after I get paid. Complicated. Anywho. If there is something this experience for sure taught me, is such a thing as being too chill while traveling. But after that, I was finally in Pamplona, and it was time to finally see my friend Ninoska for the first time in 6 years. You may not be too interested in this, but Ninoska is one of my oldest friends. We've known each other since I was 12 years old, which by now is over half of my life. I don't know about you, but that sounds a bit baffling to me, considering the fact that she's still in my life. If we think about how many times people just kind of drift away from you, and that's okay and normal. I honestly had no idea how much I missed Ninoska until I got to see her again. And it was so incredibly comfortable and comforting to be with someone who knew me so well. We were literally able to communicate without words, only by looking at each other at specific moments in a specific way. I was there for 2.5 weeks, and that time went by in a flash. I absolutely adored being with her, and I was complete trash at recording things because I was also just living my life, working, going with her to the gym, and doing mundane things. Before I knew it, it was time to go, but I can't wait to visit her again. Something that I find myself saying a lot is how I don't think that my life is particularly interesting or exciting. After which people proceed to give me the stink eye and say how I am always traveling or climbing or doing I don't know what. And to me, that's not something particularly exciting. Okay, maybe the traveling part is, but the rest is just regular life. Anyways, the point is that sometimes, even though to me my life is uninteresting, things happen that can make it look very interesting and eventful. However, I forget to record them. Like, for example, when getting back to Madrid from Pamplona, I waited at the airport for about 2 hours and I was playing cards with my friends while I waited for it to be time to board the plane. Only for the flight to get cancelled after I had already had my heartfelt farewell with my friends because the weather decided to give us just 30 minutes of end of the world type of rain, only to be bright and sunny right after they told us the plane wasn't able to land. And we had no way to get back to Madrid. I had to wait until they were able to call for a bus to get us to Madrid. Mind you, the plane ride would have been 30 minutes versus the 4 and something hours that it took for the bus ride. Not counting the fact that I also had to wait until the bus got there. But at the end of the day, I was able to get back to Madrid in one piece. I'm going to complain, and it's probably going to sound like something stupid to complain because I know you have places like the US where public transportation is just not a thing at all, but I'm waiting at the bus stop to go to the gym, and that sign over there tells you how long it's going to take until the next bus comes by. And it's saying 7 minutes. And I'm here just like, how can people, what? Why is it 7 minutes? Why is the frequency of the buses so low? How can people who need to go to work wait 7+ minutes until the next bus comes by and you don't know if it's gonna be like full or not? Sometimes this could happen in Argentina, but if it's a very a bus line that people don't use at all or hardly ever, it doesn't require the frequency. But this, I don't understand. Same thing happened in Pamplona. The bus would just take 15 to 20 minutes. And right now, I thankfully work remotely. I really cannot imagine what people who actually need to get out of their apartment and use public transportation to go to work need to do in order to be there on time. Like, sure, yeah, commute in 2 hours or something, but it's inhumane. It's really inhumane. Good morning, everybody. It's the next day. I didn't vlog anything else yesterday because I felt kind of silly recording myself on the street, and I didn't record myself at the gym because I also felt kind of silly recording myself at the gym because nobody else was recording themselves. And you never know how people are going to react if you're recording yourself in their vicinity. Like, they might get upset or whatever, and I don't want to deal with that. So it's the next day, and I prepared myself some nice breakfast. This is a nice breakfast that I prepared myself. Pretty simple with some peach juice. But I woke up semi-early today. Yesterday I went to bed. I actually went to bed early-ish. I finished, since I'm working in Europe, but my schedule is US schedule. I finished working at 12. And then I went to bed at like 1:30, but I couldn't sleep until 3 a.m. for some reason. And still, I tried waking up early today. I woke up at 9 in the morning, got up, got ready, prepared some breakfast, cleaned the kitchen, and then prepared some breakfast. No, I'm gonna have to clean the kitchen again after preparing breakfast, but I couldn't prepare the breakfast without cleaning the kitchen first. Today, I'm either going to go to the gym again today, or I'm going to buy a suitcase, because I have bought a lot of things while I've been here in Europe. A lot of clothes. Yeah, consumerism sucks, but I'm a victim of it. So I have to go to the gym, or I have to go and buy a suitcase, because I've bought a lot of things, and I don't think that I'm going to be able to fit them in the original suitcases that I brought. And then after that, I have to either come back or walk around. So I started to settle down and try to get into a routine in the new Airbnb that I rented, which this time I rented an entire apartment for myself because I didn't want to share space with other people. I'm just not very good at that. And I had to start making plans for when I went back home, which meant thinking about how I would pack all the things I'd bought, while also preparing to go to Paris. Wow, there's no lighting and my hair is a mess. Anywho, I bought a suitcase. My ticket to come to Europe included 2 suitcases and 1 carry-on bag. And I was like, okay, I'm only gonna take 1 suitcase. I'm gonna be there for 3 months, but I'm only gonna take 1 suitcase because I don't want to like really overpack because I know that I'm gonna buy things there. So I'm just gonna pack less than I'm allowed to pack, and then I know I'm gonna buy things there, so I'm gonna buy a suitcase there and just bring it back with me. And I bought a suitcase because I wanted to take advantage of the sale that is going on right now. There are sales going on with a lot of stores, and that is the bane of my existence because I want to spend a lot of money and I have to resist the capitalist urge to just spend all my money in the sales. Anywho, unpack these suitcases to see if I actually like it. It arrived on the same day. Can you believe that? That is actually amazing.
suitcase comes with a fancy manual, I guess? Why do you need a manual to use a suitcase? Who actually reads this though? It needs to be done in simpler. 5-year warranty. 5 year? That's too little. It said warranty. Of course I should have read that it said warranty. I think that 5-year warranty is too little, but I guess it's better than nothing. It should do the work, I guess. That's a new suitcase. I'm actually dying and my eyes are barely open and I've only slept for like an hour after waking up at like 9 a.m. yesterday and it's 5 a.m. today. I decided to travel. I did this to myself voluntarily. Oh wow. After spending about less than a week being back in Madrid, it was already time to go to Paris for a weekend. And let's talk about another thing that seems to be true for me. I will not sleep the night before I have to travel, regardless of how I try to have everything ready like 2 days before the trip. Being completely honest, I was a bit more nervous about going to Paris than I was about being in Germany because when it comes to the language barrier, I didn't feel confident at all. I might have just been a little bit predisposed because it has been basically ingrained in my brain that the French hated when you speak English to them, and I don't speak a single word of French. And granted, after being in Paris during the summer, I really don't blame the French for hating tourists who speak English, or tourists in general. You basically couldn't walk down the street without being surrounded by apparent idiots yelling at each other that they wanted to go get a burger. Very stereotypically American of you. So I tried to speak Spanish a couple of times, and to my surprise, some people actually started speaking Spanish back to me. But most of the times, people just gave me a weird look and asked, "English?" After which I would have a resigned side and answer, "Yes, please." I must say though that even though I was pretty nervous, people were never actually rude. And of course, because whatever can go wrong will go wrong, I actually had the misfortune of crashing into someone while riding a bicycle around the city.
I am so sorry.
Whoa.
And let me tell you something about Paris. It's the most expensive city I visited while I was in Europe. Paris also definitely makes you feel like you are in a movie, I must say. What I plan to do and what I actually do are not the same thing. I just cannot chew my lunch. I cannot even drink the Coke. I cannot drink like the cold Coke that I had. I'm probably going to die out of stress.